has Urban Meyer already damaged his credibility? He hasn't played in 8 years.
Well, first of all, let me start with this, Molly, with those comments that Urban made on Chris Collinsworth's podcast.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who Urban Meyer thinks he's trying to fool with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we all know who's running the show down in Jacksonville. And it ain't the assistant coaches that are giving Tim Tebow drills to work on in between tryout workouts. That's not what it is. This is Urban Meyer wanting to bring in one of his guys in order to be an ambassador for his program. And the reason why he's saying we haven't signed Tebow and it's all these other people in the organization is because Urban is putting his finger up in the wind, seeing which way it's going to blow to see how it's going to land a Tim Tebow signing with the media and with the fan base. But what he needs to be doing is checking to see how the guys in the locker room feel.
How are they feeling, you
Because that's the most important thing. Right now, this news of Tim Tebow potentially being signed feels like Urban Meyer doing his guy a favor, much more so than Urban Meyer.
Does that hurt the locker room? Does it hurt his credibility?
And I'm going there, Max. I think what happens is Urban Meyer is jeopardizing his credibility with his locker room because Tim Tebow doesn't seem like a guy that could potentially help the Jacksonville Jaguars win games. That's what this all comes down to. Like, Tim Tebow, can he help our program move forward? Can he contribute on the field? If he can't do that, then there's not a whole lot of value in having him on the roster. If you want him around, Molly, to your point, you could just make him a coach. But the fact that they're considering signing this dude is a dangerous game that Urban Meyer is playing, especially coming off of what he did earlier this offseason by trying to hire Chris Doyle, the Iowa strength coach, who had some racist comments to say when he was the strength coach for that program.
I'm glad you brought that up because that was very concerning as well. But real quick, Max, before you go, so you're in that locker room. You find out this is your coach. He's a new rookie head coach with the team. What are you and your teammates saying to each other?
Well, Molly, we're trying to figure out, can this guy help us? Like, that's the most important thing.
You already think he can't help you, though. We already know you think he can't help you. So what are you thinking? Is this coach a joke?
I'm not talking about Tim Tebow. I'm talking about Urban Meyer. Players want to know, can this coach help us?
You ever been in a position where you thought a coach couldn't help you?
I have been, and I'm going to get to that. But players in professional sports and in the NFL, more so than anything else, want their coaches to be able to give them answers to the test. That's what they want. Tell me what I need to do so I can have success. Give me the formula so we can go out there and win games. And guys in the locker room are already looking at Urban with the side eye because he's a college coach. We've seen successful college coaches come up to the NFL ranks and fail. Chip Kelly, Steve Spurrier, hell, even Nick Saban. So, I mean, guys are taking a wait-and-see approach with Urban Meyer.
That's a great point.
And based on these couple of things that have happened this offseason, there's probably a lot of trepidation with that. Now, as far as I'm concerned, when I was in the NFL, I played for Bill Parcells with the Dallas Cowboys. He was the coach that drafted me. But when he decided to step down, there was a regime change. And our position coach on the defensive line was one of those guys that we were looking at coming from the college ranks who we had some serious question marks about. And our very own Marcus Spears can attest to that. It took us all of one meeting with our position coach to realize this dude can't help us.
How do you tell that in one meeting?
This dude can't help us. Because it's a competency thing, Max. It's one of those things where you recognize this coach doesn't have the answers for us in order for us to be successful.
So in the locker room right now, you're saying because of Tim Tebow, there is at least an element in the locker room, a segment of the population in the locker room who's thinking, this dude does not have the answers to the test.
Absolutely, Max. But it's not just that locker room, too, based on the reports we're hearing out of Jacksonville. It could be some people within that organization.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to dispute any of that. That's based on your own experience, and I get it. But I'll say this, intentional or unintentional, I like Molly's theory. What is Urban Meyer doing here, right? Is he trying to show everyone he's the boss and establish his own culture? Or maybe, like Molly suggested yesterday, maybe he just wants Tebow around the team. Maybe as a coach, as a consultant, something, motivator, whoever knows. But he knows he's not going to get him there saying, hey, come and be the team mascot, right? Hey, you know what, Tim? We might have a roster spot for you. We want you to compete for a roster spot. That gets Tebow in the door.
Yep.
And then once he's in the door, you hope it sticks, even if he doesn't stick on the field, which is unlikely that he'd stick on the field, right? But I'll tell you another side effect, like another good effect this could have. Everyone's talking about the circus coming. Tim Tebow brings the circus. But in fiction, there's something called a MacGuffin, right? A MacGuffin is...
Here we go.
That's right.
English class, everybody. Get out your notebook.
That's right. A MacGuffin is a character or a plot device or something that is supposed to be important, but it's not important. It's just a distraction. It keeps your focus over here, but it's not really what's actually important. And Tim Tebow can be a MacGuffin here. You know why? Who's really important? They just drafted Trevor Lawrence. He's if anything, an even better prospect than Andrew Luck, who is the best quarterback prospect in a decade. What, is Trevor Lawrence the best quarterback prospect in 20 years or more? They drafted that dude. Meet everyone. When was the last time we talked about Trevor Lawrence? We've been talking about Tim Tebow now for how many days? Since the news broke. So here's the media around Tim Tebow. And you know what we're not talking about? You know where the focus isn't? The rookie quarterback.
I don't think he would do it for that reason, though.
I started by saying whether or not it's intentional. That is one of the side effects.
Yeah,
it's one of the effects is that the circus is over here. Trevor Lawrence is over there. It may not be the worst thing in the world. That's my point.
I don't know about that, Max. Trevor Lawrence is the #1 overall pick and one of the most anticipated NFL prospects we've had in a long time.
So why have you said his name in 3 days?
People saying Andrew Luck, people saying John Elway. They're comparing Trevor Lawrence to those dudes. We're talking about Tebow because it's recent, but as we get closer to training camp, all eyes are going to be on the #1 overall pick, whether Tim Tebow is on the Jacksonville Jaguars or not. So I don't know how much Tim Tebow being signed to the Jags is going to distract attention away from whether or not Trevor Lawrence gets his pro career off to a good start in Jacksonville.
The question is only, could it have a positive effect? Does it necessarily have a negative effect? Like you talk about the locker room. I can't debate with you the fact that you who have been in NFL locker rooms and have had the experience with fellow players, right? When you're with teammates who are going in the same locker room, who are going, that dude can't help us. He doesn't have the answer. Now you can lose the locker room, right? They don't think the coach can help you. I'm saying even if some of that is happening with Urban Meyer right now, first there's what was his intention here? Maybe he just wants Tebow in the door, as Molly said yesterday, one way or another.
Especially, he's a high character guy.
But another effect is it actually, I think, takes some pressure and attention off the rookie quarterback. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.